boys and girls and families. It's Miss Brianna here. This week we're going to be talking about bees. So I'm going to read a little book today. It's actually a flip book. And it's called Why Do We Need Bees? So before we start to read it, or before you start to listen to it, think about why you think we need bees. Or where have you seen bees before? Okay? So I'm going to flip my camera around. So let's look at the cover of the book. So let's see. We see lots of bees. These are all bees. Different kinds of bees. So think about, why do you think we need bees? Okay. So this is a flip book, so bear with me. I'm going to open different flaps. Okay. So first we're going to learn about what are bees. So bees are buzzing, flying insects. Many have stripes and some make honey. Okay. So let's see. What's an insect? So these are different insects. The name given to a very large group of very small animals. They all have 3 parts to their bodies and 6 legs. Remember we learned about that? Like a spider isn't really an insect. Okay. Let's see, what is this? That is a baby bee and it's called a larva. It grows from a tiny egg. Okay, and then we have, what do bees look like up close? Alright, so this is a bee. So it has 4 wings, has 2 on each side. It has a hairy body and 3 parts. So remember, insects have 3 parts. It has tiny claws to grip onto things. It has 2 feelers to smell and touch things. So a lot of times they're called antennae. Now, can all insects fly? Nope. Some just walk or some swim. Some insects actually live in the water. Alright, let's see. Buzz, 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 buzz. So this is a honeybee. These are different types. There's different types of bees. There's a bumblebee. And then this, I'm a hairy-footed flower bee. There's different types of bees. Oh, there's a couple more over here. I'm a sweet bee. And I'm not a bee, I'm a wasp. So if you ever see a wasp, you gotta be careful because they can sting you multiple times. They're nasty. But these are usually pretty friendly as long as you don't bother them. Now it says, will they sting me? Nope. Bees only sting if they feel in danger. So just keep still and let them buzz by. Yep, so if you see a bee by you, just leave it be. And then let's see. It says, I'm a beetle. So how many different kinds of bees are there? Stingless bee, blue orchid bee. So there are over 2,000, from a tiny stingless bee to a blue orchard bee. This is all about different types of bees. So remember what I said though, if you see a wasp, that's not really a bee. And they're nasty. Okay. So as you go through the book, so comment, pause my video, and after I read the question, think about, I'm going to scan through the picture. So this is what are bees. So bees are a type of insect that buzz. Okay. Now the big question is, why do we need bees? So why do you think we need bees? Okay, so it says because they spread pollen by visiting flowers, and that helps plants to grow. But what is pollen? Let's see, let's learn about what is pollen. It is a dusty powder inside flowers. Plants need pollen from other flowers to make their seeds and grow new plants. But why do bees visit flowers? To get food. They suck a sweet liquid called nectar and collect the pollen to eat later. Okay, so they go to the flower and they get the pollen. But how do they spread the pollen? Okay. By flying from flower to flower. The pollen sticks to the bee's fuzz, then rubs off to the next flower. That's why bees look nice and fluffy. So all the pollen sticks to them and their feet. They got fuzzy feet. So that's how they spread it. They just go to each flower. So like when you're doing your little activity with the Cheetos or the chips, you are spreading it all over too. Okay. Now, do all plants need bees? No. Pollen is spread by other insects as well. And by the wind too. That's why a lot of times during the springtime you get allergies. I know, like Miss Brianna. And all that yellow stuff sometimes you see on like the ground, or you see it on your porch or on your cars. That's pollen that's get blown from the wind. Okay, now how do bees help this plant? They spread its pollen so its fruit can grow. Seeds then grow inside the fruit. You see, they even help fruit plants. Okay, and this says, what will happen to these flowers? After the bees visits, the petals will fall off and green beans will grow in their place. So they even help vegetables. So then it says, so why do we need bees? That big question. Because without them, we couldn't grow lots of vegetables and fruit that we eat. You see, if we didn't have bees, we wouldn't have fruits and vegetables. So that's why we need them. So if you ever see a bee, just leave it be. If you're not bothering it, it's not going to bother you. Just leave it alone. Just walk away. Don't try to kill it, because then that's when it's going to sting you. Okay, so now we know what a bee is and why do we need them, but where do they live? Because we want to try to stay away from them. So where do bees live? They live all over the world. Some live in big groups, others live on their own. So let's see, what do you think this is? And what this guy is doing, or lady, I don't really know who's in there. It says, what's this? This is a beehive, and it's a home for honeybees. People keep bees in hives so they can collect their honey. So it's like a building for the bees. And this person is a beekeeper. But they have to wear a special uniform to protect themselves from the bees. Now let's see. I see a hole in the ground. What's inside this hole? Over half the bees in the world make their nests underground. So this is a bumblebee nest. So a lot of times if you see bees on the ground, it's because their home is on the ground. I know I have a lot of bumblebees in the back of my yard. When I cut the grass, I always see them flying around on the ground. Now, where can I see a nest like this? Let's see. You could see it in tropical forests and other warm places. In colder places, wild honeybees make their nests inside hollow trees. See, in tropical places, they have just the beehive right on the outside, and then when it's cold, they go inside to keep warm. Where is this bee's nest? She doesn't have one. She's called a cuckoo bee. She sneaks into other nests and lay her eggs there. Uh-oh, that's not very nice. Let's see, who lives here? A carpenter bee. She chews out a tunnel for a nest and lays her eggs. So she's a carpenter bee, so she lays, see how it says food and egg. So she'll make her nest in different wood things. So it looks like this is like in a fence. Now let's see, what are these circles for? This is for a leaf cutter bee. They're making little rooms to lay my eggs in. So a leaf cutter bee lays them in leaves. Okay, now where are these bees going? Wait for me. To set up a new nest, theirs is too crowded. So sometimes when you live with too many people, you need to get a new home. Alright, so we know different places where they live. Some live in a beehive and underground, and in fences, some steel nests. Some live in tropical and cold places. Some live in the leaves. Okay. So now I'm going to ask, how do bees make honey? So they have all this pollen and they're going to make it into honey. They have the nectar. Let's see, how are they going to do it? It says they collect sweet nectar from flowers and store it in their nests. Now, do all bees make honey? What do you think? It says I do, but I don't. Nope. Bees that live on their own don't. Bees that live in groups make at least a little. Now it says, which flowers should I go to? I couldn't find the little flag. It says bees use smell and sight to find flowers with pollen and nectar. So it says yummy pollen, but no nectar here. Many flowers have lines to guide bees to the nectar. And then this one, it says follow me. He looks like he's going in the ground. It says bumblebees make honey pots in their nests. So remember, bumblebees live in the ground, and they make honey so they make honey pots in the ground. Now it says, how do bees carry the nectar? It says, I'm in a special honey tummy. The nectar is passed from bee to bee. So they have this really long nose that they collect the nectar. Now it says, why is this bee dancing? To tell other bees where to find the best flowers. They fly to the right of the sun. So that's why a lot of times they fly in a circle to tell the other bees where to go. And then it says, why are you hovering here? I'm fanning the nectar with my wings to turn it into thick, sweet honey. And I'm sealing the honey with a wax lid. Now it says, how do beekeepers collect honey? Not only do the bees get honey, but remember, this person is called a beekeeper. So they have this little house called a beehive. So it says they lift out the honey frames and carefully brush off the bees and whiz the frames around so the honey spins out. Then they slice off the wax lids. So they take the bees off, then they slice off the wax, and then they put it in this machine that spins it. But how do bees get into the hive? There's a little gap on the bottom. So on the bottom of it, there's a little gap. Okay, so who is who in the hive? So we have lots of bees, and they have all different jobs in the hive. So it's a hive has a queen bee and thousands of female worker bees and many male drone bees. But which one is the queen? How do you know what she looks like, since there's only one? I am the mother of all bees in the hive. We're her daughters and we're worker bees. So usually she's like the biggest bee. And her job is just to have babies. Okay, now it says, how do bees grow up? It says, I lay an egg. The egg grows into a larva. The larva grows and changes. Then it crawls out as a bee. Now, what are all these hexagon shapes? So beehive always has these hexagon shapes, but what are they for? They're little spaces called cells. Bees make them for storing food and hatching eggs. So they're like little rooms where they keep stuff, little cubby holes. Now let's see, what's going on here? It says a new queen bee is growing. She eats lots of royal jelly to make her bigger than all the other bees. Remember, she's huge because that's her only job, is to have thousands and thousands of eggs every day. Now it says, lift these flaps to see what worker bees do. Okay, so let's see. It says they clean out the cells. So they clean. They guard the entrance of the hive so other bad wasps won't come in. It's a little tricky. They make wax to build more cells. They collect nectar and pollen for the hive. So some go outside. And then remember, so these are all the girl ones. They are the workers. Now the boy ones are the drone bees. Now let's see. Maybe it tells you what they do. The only male bees in the hive, they fly off in search of new queen bees. Now, okay, so they don't really do too much work. They just search for a new queen bee. Because she can't have babies forever, so I guess she gets tired. So that's who's who in the hive. Now it says amazing bees. So see how important bees are? So let's find out some more amazing facts about bees and how we can help them. So let's see. So why do bees buzz? By moving their wings very quickly, 20 times in 1 second. That makes that buzzing sound. Now, can bees talk to each other? It says sort of, not like we do, but through their dances and through smells they make. Now it says, how many bees make a jar of honey? So when you go to the store or to the nursery, the plant nursery, and you buy a jar of honey, let's see, how many bees did it take to make that? It says around 20,000 1,000. One bee makes only an eighth of a teaspoon of honey in its lifetime. So only like a little drop. So you have a spoon, that's all they make in their lifetime. So that's why you need lots and lots of bees. Now let's see, this says save our bees. Now are bees in danger? Can't find the little flaps. It says yes. Many bees are dying out. Changes in our towns and countryside mean it can be hard for bees to find enough flowers. That's why you should always have flowers, even if you live in an apartment. You can get a couple flowers and, put them on, put them outside your door, put them if you have a balcony. Just put a couple flowers and help the bees out. Like I said, they're not going to be harmful to you unless you're bugging them. So it says, how can we help the bees? It says by giving them places to live and planting more flowers for their food. So you can give them little homes to live in. If you have a tree or something or even like a shepherd's hook, you can hang one on there and give them some flowers to live in. There's certain kinds of flowers that attract bees more. Now it says, can bees live in towns? It says yes, if there is enough flowers around. Window boxes, gardens, and parks are all good places for flowers. And rooftops can be a great place for beehives. So like I said, even if you live in an apartment, you can have a little window box. You can have little pots by your door or on your balcony. And then it says, how long have bees been on Earth? It says, since the dinosaurs. So even the dinosaurs had bees. Let's see what this is. It says, ancient Egypt beehive. People have been keeping honeybees for thousands of years. So even the ancient Egyptians had beehives and with their pyramids. All right. And that is it. So remember to go over some of these questions. Why do we need bees? Where do they live? Who's who in the beehive? Let me put my camera around. All right, boys and girls. So I hope you learned a little bit about bees and how they're not scary, except for those wasps. But they're actually not really a bee. They're, a different type of insect. So if you ever see them, they're like usually real skinny, and they're kind of like curved. If you see them, they are ones that bug you, and they can sting you multiple times. But if you see little fat fuzzy things, those are usually some kind of bumblebee or honeybee. Don't bother them because they're just trying to. They maybe you smell good, and they think you're a flower. So just leave them alone because they're trying to help the earth and help. If we didn't have bees, we wouldn't have fruits and vegetables and beautiful flowers to look at. So we got to thank the bees. So make sure you try to do the the little honeybee small group activity some point during the week. You just need to get some chips or some Cheetos, crumble them up, put them in a bowl, and just get an old sock or even like a mitten from the wintertime. Put your hand in it and then just see how you can spread the pollen. Draw some pictures of different flowers and see how you can pollinate them. And it's a little fun activity. Usually we do it in the classroom, but obviously we can't because we're home. So you guys try to do it at home. All right? And I'll see you guys later. Bye. Take care. Stay safe.